Warriors and Guardians of Christ's Kingdom here on Earth. Welcome back to the channel. Guillermo's back online. So, in my previous video, talking about that interview between Matt Goodwin and Ben Habib, a lot of you left comments saying that I should make a separate video actually analysing the situation that they were in. Analysing Matt Goodwin's response, his body language, his attitude, and also the messages that Ben Habib was trying to put across. And I just want to keep it brief. I don't want to make it too long or drawn out. But I mean, basically, in a nutshell, Matt Goodwin, he failed to demonstrate effective and proper journalistic integrity. I feel. I think that he was very condescending. He was incredibly patronising. He kept cutting Ben off. He wouldn't listen to a word he was saying. He was just kind of parroting the same script that GB News was forcing him to read out. In just undeniable support for reform, just this unflinching support for reform. I'm very disappointed in Matt Goodwin, in all honesty, and so are most of you in the comment section. Don't get me wrong, I think he's done a lot to educate a lot of brilliant minds into the right direction in regards to politics and culture. He's highlighted a lot of issues that we can all agree on. You know, we all agree that illegal immigration is a massive problem. It's a stain on our country, and he's highlighted the change in demographics, and we all need to take a stand on this. He's repeated it many times. But talk is cheap. Talk is cheap, and you can only make change when you implement actions. And by supporting a party like Reform that have repeatedly demonstrated that they are incapable of implementing the right policies, effective measures, and taking action to change, to save this country, as Ben Habib has explained far better than I have, you're leaving the country in a ditch, essentially. And yeah, that's all I have to say about Matt Goodwin. I think he's sold himself out to Reform, quite sadly. And he's part of that massive Messiah-like cult that Nigel Farage has created. Now, on to the point, that key point that Ben Habib was highlighting about leaving the ECHR. This is absolutely essential for the UK to do, because although we've initiated Brexit, it's only Brexit in name. We've never actually left the EU. You know, our laws and regulations are still shackled by the ECHR. We don't have the freedom to control, to have full control and autonomy over our laws and regulations, especially in regards to sensitive topics like immigration, you know, securing our borders, being able to deport illegal immigrants. And this is the #1 issue that people are concerned with, even Reform voters are concerned with in this country, and that needs to be addressed. As I said, you can't keep on banging the drum about it, talking about it, and telling the media that you're going to solve this problem of illegal migration, you're going to solve the problem of radical Islam, you're going to solve the problem of the changing demographic. As Ben Habib quite rightly said in that interview, trying to get the point across to Matt Goodwin, who refused to listen. Look, there's no point in voting Reform in. Just because they win the election doesn't mean they will implement the right policies. They've got to come up with the correct action plan, a sequence of events, a proper structure as to exactly how they are going to carry out the deportation of illegal migrants. And I'm not sure if Nigel Farage is capable of doing that, because he's quite wishy-washy with his whole narrative, whether Reform will deport all illegal immigrants or just the illegal migrants that are already coming in at present. He's he said in his Birmingham conference that he'd deport the immigrants coming to the borders, but not the immigrants that are already present in this country. So by doing that, you are pushing current supporters and voters away from your party, Nigel. We need to leave the ECHR. It's the #1 thing we have to do in order to secure our borders, get behind this deportation program, and really start solving this issue. and really just nip it in the bud. This is a big issue. Leaving the ECHR. And as Ben said, the last time that Nigel Farage talked about exiting the ECHR, he wanted to propose a referendum for the ECHR. Nigel has been softening his narrative. He's been softening his political so-called right-wing expressions that he's been making, and he hasn't delivered on the promises that he'd made for the British people before reform got into power. He's all talk but no substance. As I said, talk is cheap. You can't rely on people's promises, their expressions, and what they say they're going to do. You have to implement the right policies. You have to pay attention to their actions. Kudos to Ben Habib for actually speaking the truth. But yeah, this is quite disappointing, the situation that we're in. This is a massive letdown. So at this point, I'm not really sure what Ben Habib is planning, especially with his initiation of the GB pack. But I have faith in Ben Habib. I have faith in Rupert Lowe that they'll be able to galvanise lots of brilliant minds and capable people, potential politicians together, and perhaps create a new party or join UKIP, which would be ideal and even better. But yeah, we need to get the ground running on this. The ECHR is shackling us to their globalist laws and regulations, and we have to secure our autonomy, leave the ECHR, and secure our borders, deport illegal migrants. We've got to follow the lead of Rupert Lowe. That's all I have to say. Be sure to leave comments down below. This is Guardian Mode clocking out. I hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.